So hello and welcome to the south coast of England, in one of my favourite places. Currently in Durdle Door, which is in Dorset. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be taking on the challenge of some astrophotography, where I'm going to be trying to capture the Milky Way behind Durdle Door. So this is one of those instances where the stars have actually aligned, and today is a new moon, and the Milky Way is set to rise behind Durdle Door at around 9:30 tonight. So I've got a couple of hours to wait. Just watched a beautiful sunset, and now I'm about to start setting up to capture the Milky Way. So equipment I'm using today is the Nikon Z6 camera, which I'm currently filming on, with the Nikon Z6 kit lens, which is an f4 aperture. So when you're capturing the Milky Way, you want to try and capture as much light as possible. So ideally you would have, say, for example, an f2.8 lens or faster, but I've only got f4 at the moment. So in order to capture more light, I'm going to have to open up the shutter for as long as possible to capture as much light in the image as I can. If you take too long an exposure, the stars will trail in the sky, which makes your image look not that clean. So the aim is to capture pinpoint stars in as long as an exposure as you can. Now to do that, I've got a couple of pieces of equipment that are going to help me out. So there are two methods that you could use. You can open up your shutter for as long as possible, say 15-25 seconds, or you can take lots of photos and blend them together later on. Now I'm also going to use what's called a star tracker, which I have the Optron Skyguider Pro. What this does is this attaches to my tripod, and I will mount my lens on the front and point it at the Milky Way. And what this does is it will rotate my lens in time with the Earth's rotation, which allows me to open the shutter up for as long as possible. So I'm going to try and take a lot of different 2 to 3 minute exposures, and hopefully I can blend them together on my computer to eliminate some of the noise. Now, I'll talk through all the technical stuff now because I don't know if I'm going to have enough light to do a vlog alongside it. So what I'm aiming to do is 2 to 3 minute exposures using an ISO possibly 1600 and aperture at f4. Let's see what we can get. So the next important pieces of kit that I'm going to use is to help me focus on the stars. So you might think that actually you can just focus to infinity and that will be fine, but actually it's slightly more nuanced than that. You're going to want to try and have pinpoint stars. So to do that, I'm going to use what's called a Bartinov mask, which attaches to the front of my lens and allows me to focus on a bright star until a star pattern emerges in the image. Once I've got that star pattern, I'll be able to know that I've locked in perfect focus, which I'll be using on manual focus for this. It's also important to turn off any image stabilization in your camera, because that will cause your camera computer to try to adjust for movements that aren't there, because ideally you're on a really stable tripod. So turn that off, and it should help with focusing. So today the stars have aligned. It's actually a really clear day down on the south coast of England, and more importantly a clear night. And also this happens to fall upon the new moon Monday in September. So there's slightly more dark night to play with than in the summer months. So I should have a longer window to try and capture as many different photos as I can. So I've got a couple of different compositions lined up. I've been using an app called PhotoPills and using their night augmented reality mode to help me plan compositions. This should appear on the screen over here, which allows me to plan where the Milky Way is going to rise behind the door at what time, and that allows me to plan where I'm going to set my tripod up to take the photos. So the way the sky tracker works is you have on the front here a polar scope. So what you do is you attach this to your tripod, and through the polar scope you look up and find what's called Polaris, also known as the North Star. So that North Star is what the point in the sky which all the other stars appear to revolve around. So you point this on the tripod towards that star, attach your camera on the rig, and the camera will rotate around that North Star Polaris in time with the Earth's rotation. That allows us to open up the shutter on the camera for a long period of time. So without this piece of kit, I would be looking at, on a 24mm lens, possibly around 15-second exposures. So there is something called the 500 rule, which is where you divide 500 by your focal length. So in my instance, 24mm, and that should give you the optimum shutter speed. There are a couple of nuances to that. So actually, the further away from the North Pole, the North Star you're looking, the less that becomes relevant. And as I'm taking photos of the Milky Way Galactic core, that's the complete opposite side towards the south. So that will actually throw that calculation out a little bit further. So I'd be looking possibly sub 10-second exposures, which, whilst is good, would not be revealing as much of the Milky Way as I would like to. So today we are in what's called the Milky Way, towards the end of what's called the Milky Way season, which is where the galactic core, which is the brightest part of our galaxy, is visible. It's in the Northern Hemisphere. So the stars have aligned. I've got one last chance really before that Milky Way season ends to capture a clear night. And I haven't had a clear night since February, I believe. So I'm really excited to get out and see what photos I can take. So the best part about taking photos in Durdle Door is that this is actually a Bortle 4 region of light pollution. So if you remember from my last video where I was shooting near London, I was in a Bortle 8 out of 9. So I'm really excited to see what the light pollution levels in Dorset will have to offer. I'm hoping some really clean images. If the more light pollution in the sky, the more noise in your photo, the more colour degradation in the photos, etc. Which is also the reason why you don't want the moon to appear. So shooting around the new moon causes a lot less light to be in the sky, a lot less light interference to be in the sky, which should allow the stars to be the heroes of the photo. So I think it's possibly getting slightly too dark to vlog any further. I've already had to boost the ISO on my camera quite high, so hopefully that's not too noisy on this video. So until then, I'm going to chill, watch the stars start to appear in the sky, what's remaining of the glorious sunset over in the corner, and hopefully get some good images. So welcome back to Dorset in Water Cove. Had a fantastic night imaging last night. Hopefully the results are good. I've had a quick fix on my camera, and the problem is with popular destinations is there's quite a lot of people getting involved in astrophotography, which is great to see. Unfortunately, quite a few people walked through my photos with head torches on, which is cause a little bit of light blur in the photos. So hopefully I can get at least one good image. But for now, I'm just going to relax on the beach. And before I head home, take a look at the photos. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all those good things. Let me know what your favourite part of the video was. It was a slightly different topic for me today. Really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. It was my first time doing Milky Way photography, and all those lessons I'm going to take through. For example, the star tracker is actually really difficult to polar align. I had it perfect on the first few shots, and then someone set their tripod up right in front of me, and I ended up moving and couldn't get it back together again. So I was out until about 2:30 last night. So a bit of a slow start this morning. I wanted to try and catch the sunrise, but that didn't happen. All packed up on the tent, pop-up tents. 30 seconds up, hours to put down. So I'm sure if you stick around to the end, there'll be some outtakes of that. If you have any questions about the photos I've taken today, let me know in the comment section below. I'd be happy to talk you through my process, how I did different things, what I'll try and do differently next time, because there's always something to learn with photography. I'm still pretty new to it myself. I'm really enjoying it. If you want to follow along my photography journey, links down here to my Instagram. Until next time, take it easy. Goodbye. I think I'm going to have to Google how to do this. 30 seconds up, a lifetime to put away. If in doubt, read the instructions. Is this going to fit in the bag? No. No. So my goal with this is to just get it away just enough that it doesn't pop open whilst I'm driving down the motorway, and I'll fix the rest of it. I see that as an absolute win.